Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 career mode here with Bayern Munich. We are back today after closing out the summer transfer window in the previous episode with the signings of Alexander Pavlovic and Jan-Niklas Bester. So the squad is looking ready for the upcoming season. I'm feeling good about ourselves. We suffered our first defeat of the season at home to Borussia Dortmund after an early red card to Matteo Maier, but we got ourselves back on track at the end of the previous episode. We got loads of games to crack on with today, so we're just going to dive straight into our first, which is a big clash against Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen, once again at home at the Allianz, as we look to get ourselves back to the top of the table and keep pace with Borussia Dortmund. Big game to kick off the episode. Auf geht's, die Rotten. So we are underway here at the Allianz, of course. I mentioned it in the intro, but we suffered that loss to Dortmund here in match day 3, I think it was. Yeah, match day 3 of the season when Matteo Maier was sent for an early bath, and we lost it by 2-1 as Federico Luna goes really close there. Federico Luna, who had that earlier effort, just one goal in all competitions last year. Federico Luna, and he's kind of lost his place to Lopez at the moment down that left hand side. It's a great run by Fonzie, and somehow that is kept out before it reaches Sembaka. Elise to swing the corner in. Bissek's in there, it's deflected behind for another corner as the big German looked to get his first goal for the club. It's in there again. Bissek's up again. It's loose. And Baka, I've red timed it. And he's absolutely skied it as it was loose in the penalty area. Luna down the left side again, causing lots of issues with his pace. And I did put him in the lineup for this game due to that fact. I mentioned earlier on about using the pace out wide. And that's why I went for Luna over Lopez in this game. And he's picked up, I believe, his first assist of the season for Michael Elise, who's been absolutely flying at the start of the campaign. Boniface in a good position here. Victor Boniface. Inacio has to be careful. That's nicely worked into Florian Wirtz. And Leverkusen are back level. It's a bit of a disappointment that we've only kept 2 clean sheets in our opening 5, considering how good we were at the back last season. But I have off camera made a couple of amendments to the AI behaviour sliders rather than the actual sort of gameplay sliders, just to try and increase the difficulty a little bit and make it a little bit less robotic from the AI. And I have to say, it's making it a lot more enjoyable to play, knowing that it's not just as robotic as it usually is from the AI. So we might be conceding more, but it's making it a little bit more realistic and a little bit more exciting as well. Mensa into Dusan. Luna to Musiala and back to Federico and through the gap for Sembaka, who does really well. Good save. And Mensa on the follow-up, got hold of it with the keeper out of the net, but bodies in the way for Leverkusen as Mensa went in centre his first goal, and we couldn't quite scramble it in. We saw a goal like that last year. I can't remember who it was against, where we managed to tackle the keeper and turn in the second ball, but on this occasion it just evades Baka and Leverkusen survive. A really great first 45 there, as Musiala looks to get us off and running in the second, right out of the traps, and again the keeper is able to get there and Baka unable to turn in the rebound. Given away to Fonzie. Now is there time for one last break. Lopez to Jamal Musiala and back to Lopez. Diego down the left hand side, nice feet, finds Musiala, and there is Rojas, couldn't get it through to Marquez. Lopez does well, and Rojas back to Lopez, and Bayern Munich do win it, and it's one of the summer signings, Diego Lopez, with his first goal for the club. And look at what it means to those Bayern Munich players. We win it late on, it had been coming, and one final opportunity leads to the winning goal. Lopez on the left foot drills it past Andre, and Bayern Munich win it with the last kick of the game. Wow, well, what a way to start off today's episode. We moved to within a point of Borussia Dortmund, but that's a big blow for Leverkusen as they fall down to 8th place in the table. And the big games continue to come thick and fast as we turn our attention to the Champions League, travelling to France to take on Paris Saint-Germain in the French capital. Big clash in the league phase, and we're looking for another 3 points after our win against Tottenham on match day 1. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Mensah forward to Musiala. Elise back to Jamal, and now Lopez off the back of his match winner. Rifles one in. And it's 2-2 for Diego Lopez. What a strike by the Spaniard. And it's no wonder this guy scored so many goals for Wolfsburg last year, because he's so good in front of goal. Took his goal against Leverkusen brilliantly, and now makes it 2-2 with an absolute rocket past Donnarumma to open the scoring here in France. Frattesi, the Italian, down the right-hand side to Rafinha. Fonzie caught up the pitch, and that's lovely football. And now here is the Brazilian, Evanilson, racing through. Maya comes across and doesn't get there, and it's brilliant hold up by Evanilson, and Ouattara is on hand to score the leveller for the Parisians. Well, I mentioned in that previous game against Leverkusen how I've slightly adjusted the AI settings, and it's certainly making for much more exciting and realistic games as Bacca hits the frame of the goal. And you know, we're not just comfortably seeing out every game 2 or 3-0. It's making it a lot more enjoyable to play, and I'm hoping it's making the videos more enjoyable as well, as Donnarumma takes a risk with Bacca closing in, and that's not the first time we've seen that either. Oh, as Lopez is late. Lopez could be in trouble here. Scored the opening goal, and it's red. Referee doesn't like the challenge, and for the second time this season a Bayern Munich player sees red, and it's our goal scorer Diego Lopez. Well, big 45 coming up here in France. If we can escape the Parc des Princes with a point, then it'll be a great result considering the red card, but I think it's going to be a bit of an onslaught in this second half from PSG. We are pretty good at still maintaining our attacks even with 10 men on the pitch, as we saw against Dortmund as we nearly got back into the game. But I think it's most likely going to be all hands on deck as Rafinha's onside and denied by Ronnie, and Rafinha's there again and Ronnie's in the way again. He could have a busy second half, the big man. Young. And that's a nice ball into Jamal, and Jamal again given half a yard, and for the third time is denied by Donnarumma. Another cracking game here. McKennie forward to Federico Luna. Up against Gomez. And looks to get into the area. Marquez. Musiala. Oh, it's a side netting this time. And the captain had a chance to win it. As the corner goes short, we've been left 2v1 out here due to the man advantage. As PSG look to work the ball inside. Evanilson. It's lovely work and off the crossbar. And Ronnie claims. And Bayern thought we'd won it down one end. And PSG now thought they'd won it down the other. And this time, I think that will do it in France, as both sides will settle for the point. An absolute cracker in the French capital. We will most certainly take the point, considering the position we found ourselves in. But as I say, another great game to kick off today's episode. Well, as we see Musiala winning the Bundesliga Player of the Month award once again. Before jumping into this next game, we do see that Aaron Neumann has handed in a transfer request. It's not too much of a big deal. I've not really got any qualms with this one. He's on the rotation squad role. He never really features for us because Inacio very rarely misses any games. We've got Bissek, we've got Maya, we've got Collins. So It's difficult to get Neumann into the team. He's still got really 2.5 years left on his deal, so we don't have any need to sell him in the winter transfer window in January. So I'll maybe just look to keep him until the end of the season. But anyway, off the back of the point in France, we'll jump into our next game as we take on Borussia Mönchengladbach at Borussia Park. Having a pretty good start to the campaign, sat in those European places. So expecting another tough game here, but hoping for another 3 points on the board. Auf geht's, Die Rotten. Dusan finds Mensah, and look at the space out wide for Michael Elise. Drops it inside for Musiala, and there's Sembaka, and he doesn't miss those. He's not been quite as prolific this season as he was last campaign. He was averaging pretty much a goal every game. He's just under that ratio at the moment, but I think that's goal number 3 in the Bundesliga this season. And Sembaka doing what Sembaka does and firing us into the lead here. Cracking finish on the weaker right foot. Well, this should do it here at Borussia Park as we have the ball exactly where we want it in the corner, as Marquez will get a chance for a late second, but that will do it as we see out the victory by just a single goal to nil. Not quite so much of a cracker as we saw with the 2 opening games in today's episode, but a win nonetheless for Bayern Munich, and Sembaka with the only goal. We managed to grind out the victory in the second half, but I have to say I'm finding the games a lot more difficult, and I'm finding it a lot more enjoyable. That it's a bit more of a challenge with those slight adjustments to the sliders, finding it a little bit more difficult than we were last campaign and having to really grind it out. Well, just keeping the games rolling, jumping into our next game here. Another big one as we take on RB Leipzig, meaning we would have faced Dortmund, Leverkusen and Leipzig in our opening 7 games in the Bundesliga. They currently sit just 2 points behind us before we kick off today, so a big game between 2 of the top sides in Germany. Once again at home at the Allianz and looking to get a victory like we did over Leverkusen. Auf geht's, Die Rotten. Fonzie wins the header, and now Lopez has it and drives infield. Mensah to Elise. Fouled Mensah, but we play on. Still Michael Elise. Goes down. Surely a penalty. As Ramiro comes out, seems to miss the ball and completely take out the man. I'm not too sure how, but Bayern Munich will have a spot kick. Well, he just completely misses it. And it will be Sembaka. We know which corner he likes to go to. And Baka does go to his usual corner and scores as well. Baka on the score sheet once again, and Bayern Munich lead in the 35th minute of the game, and we could be set for another cracker against RB Leipzig. Lopez forward to Sem. Oh, brilliant by Baka. Lopez going all the way. Still Diego Lopez. What a run and what a save by Ramiro, his fellow Spaniard, to deny him. Beautiful feet by Lopez to stay on his feet, keep his balance and force the save out of Ramiro. Now RB Leipzig come the other way with DiMarco and the Italian to Baumgartner. Now Tino Livramento inverting infield. Baumgartner to Brobby, and Baumgartner again. Back to Brian Brobby, who rifles in the equalising goal. And they've not caused us too many problems, but RB Leipzig are back on level terms just 10 minutes into the second half. Another game for Bayern Munich where we failed to keep a clean sheet. It's becoming a bit of a regular occurrence for us this season. And, well, I'm not saying it's solely Jan Oral-Bissek's fault, but you think back to last season how good the partnership between Inacio and Maya was. Maybe we should look to return to that centre-back partnership, as Brobby looking to get in behind, and that's great defending by Sasha Boe. Brobby now has it. Bissek holds him up but can't stop him from going on, and Brobby gets his shot away, which Ronnie has to turn away for the throw-in. 20 to play. RB Leipzig looking more likely at the moment. Jung down the right. Not long to play here at the Allianz. Still young. And Rojas slides it through the gap to Merlin. And Sembaka! What a strike from Sem. And what a brilliant goal on the counter from Bayern Munich. And we won it late against Leverkusen. And we look as if we may have won it late against RB Leipzig. Two big victories at the Allianz as we look to defend our Bundesliga crown. Well, there is the full-time whistle, and Bayern Munich do hold on for another big victory. And the same scoreline we won by against Bayer Leverkusen in a similar game where we went ahead, were pegged back, and then found a late winner. And it does look as if ourselves and Dortmund might just start to escape at the top of the Bundesliga. Of course, they beat us here by 2-1, albeit with the red card for Matteo Meyer. But that's another big victory for Bayern in the Bundesliga. Well, that late victory does take us top of the Bundesliga. 6 wins in our 7 games and just that 1 defeat which came to Borussia Dortmund, who remain unbeaten and just a point behind us in second, with FSV Mainz having a really good season in third, and they will be our next opponent in the Bundesliga. But before we get there, another big clash in the Champions League as we take on Atletico Madrid, this time at home at the Allianz in the Champions League. Of course, we faced them in the Champions League final back at the end of Season 5 in our final game as Southampton manager. So a lot of history between myself and Atletico Madrid. They're 2 wins from 2 in the league phase, and after the draw against PSG last time out, I'd love to get back to winning ways here, although another point on the board would be a respectable result. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Yeah, we are really cramming in all the big games today. We've had Leverkusen and Leipzig in the Bundesliga. We've got Mainz, who are doing really well, currently sat in 3rd place coming up in our next game. We've had PSG away at the Parc des Princes and now taking on Atletico Madrid at the Allianz, all in today's episode. So loads and loads of big clashes for you today. And we've done pretty well so far. I'd love to get another 3 points here against Simeone's side, but as I said in the intro, taking on another of Europe's kind of biggest sides, I think a lot of the big sides will just accept a point in these games in the league phase. As long as you don't lose, it's a reasonable point on the board. Well, second half underway here, and I've really struggled to get Marquez in the game. I've given him the nod in today's fixture, but just haven't been able to get the ball up to him. And as I mentioned, just really struggling to play through the lines, especially in the centre of the pitch where it's really crowded and congested at the moment. So not many chances for either side, but here's Elise looking to change that. Musiala dispossessed, and that just sort of sums up how that first half went. Merlin pinches it back high up the pitch. And Federico, oh, it's wide. And he doesn't get many, and that is probably the clearest sight of goal either side has had in this 75 minutes. And Luna, not an easy chance, but a sight of goal that goes wide of the post. And Atletico Madrid survive. Pavlovic does well. Is there time to get it forward? The 1 minute of added time is up, but Rojas looks for Merlin. And Jonathan Tah clears, and that is going to do it at the Allianz. Well, I said it was going to be another big game, but it ended up being a bit of a disappointing one. Neither side could really create anything, and Federico Luna had the best chance of the game, flashing that shot just wide of the post from the edge of the box. But again, a reasonable point on the board, as with when we travel to PSG. And the trickiest games that we've got were probably our opening 3. So to remain unbeaten after those 3, we've put ourselves in a good position as still progressing via the top 8. Well, as I mentioned, the big games keep coming as we travel to FSV Mainz, who currently sit in 3rd place. So first v 3rd clash at the top of the Bundesliga, and a win here for the hosts would see them draw level on points with us at the top of the table. So another big clash. I said there's been lots of them in today's episode, and I'm expecting another really tricky game here against a high-flying Mainz side. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Yeah, there's not really any stars in this Mainz team, but they're obviously doing really, really well in the Bundesliga. And I know the centre forward, Ali, is the joint top scorer at the moment with Sem Bakker. So definitely someone to keep an eye out for as that's lifted into Lopez. And there is Bakker, and Elise couldn't turn it in. It was a shot from Bakker. It was sort of a cross-come shot. And Elise, instead of just nodding it in, tried to bring it down, and his control let him down, and it goes wide of the post. Jamal through the gap to Elise. Nicely worked this. Michael Elise goes for the near post and beats Kinski. And the Czech goalkeeper not really covering himself in glory there. Kind of lost his bearings and falls to his right-hand side as Elise drills it in at the near post. A fantastic start to the season for the Frenchman Elise, and he gets, I think that is his 5th goal in all competitions this season. Elise pinches it back again, and now Musiala back to Elise, and it could be a quick-fire double as Bakker's rolled through, and Sem Bakker doubles the advantage for Bayern. And this is how ruthless the best teams are, and Mainz are learning that today. You cannot switch off, you cannot give them any opportunities, because with the quality of players that we've got, you will be punished. Well, there's the full-time whistle at the MEWA Arena, and all the damage done in that first half, and we just controlled things in the second. The conditions, the weather conditions didn't really help either team, but that quick-fire double from Bayern Munich just showed the quality that we have in the starting 11 and the difference between the two sides. Mainz having a great season so far, but Bayern Munich showing their quality and why they have the most Bundesliga titles in the history of the competition. Well, a very good victory for us. That keeps us a point clear of Dortmund, and you can see now a small gap starting to build up between ourselves and Dortmund, and Leipzig and Leverkusen in 3rd and 4th. But our attention now returns to the DFB-Pokal, where we were knocked out last year in, I think it was the 3rd round to Wolfsburg. And I said all of last season I need to take this competition a little bit more seriously, as I really do want to get my hands on another domestic trophy. We've been drawn away against Union Berlin, so a Bundesliga side, so I will be picking a strong lineup for this one as we want to make it through to the 3rd round of the competition. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Yeah, we learnt the hard way last year how easy it is to underestimate your opponents, and that's exactly what we did when we faced Wolfsburg in this competition last year. We kind of took for granted that we should be progressing through and that we were one of the favourites, if not the favourite for the competition, and in the end they ended up going on to win the whole thing at our expense. So I've gone for a strong lineup. Yes, there are still changes to the team, but I would expect with the lineup I've got out there today that we would be able to make it through to the next round without too many complications. The hardest task is just going to be finding the opening goal against this back 5 of Union Berlin. Well, deadlocked at the break, and I said finding the breakthrough was going to be the most difficult part of this game, because this back 5 of Union Berlin is not budging. And as I say, I've got a strong lineup out there. Marquez, we've got Uzun, we've got Luna and Rojas as our front 4, but at the moment just cannot find a way through that back 5 of Union Berlin. But here is Rojas. Early on in this second 45, Rojas does well. There is Federico Luna who lets fly, and Pires again with a good stop. Willems, who scored against us here last year in the Bundesliga. Nice football. Shot comes in from range, and Fruchtel had to watch that all the way. 15 to play, a couple of substitutes, but my goodness, man, I just cannot find a way through. If we go out in the second round of the DFB Pokal, I'm going to be absolutely livid. But here goes Marquez. Maybe a chance here. Surely Marquez. He couldn't get away. And that was probably the best chance we're going to get. Bester's corner. It'll come out to Sem Bakker. Luna. That's nicely worked. Merlin. And Lopez, it's wide. And that is going to do it, man. I cannot believe we've not found the breakthrough. Well, thankfully for us, it's not straight to a penalty shootout. And we get an extra half an hour to try and find a goal. And that last 10 minutes of the 90 were slightly better from us. I've had to call on Sem Baka, which I didn't really think I'd have to be doing. But that's the current situation we find ourselves in. As Luna, oh come on Luna, it's not good enough, man. Well, there's the whistle. I cannot believe we've not found a goal from anywhere, and we're heading to the shootout. Not feeling confident, as I never do on the spot kicks. Got some good penalty takers out there, but I just never feel confident. Trincao, oh Fruchtel, he's gone past it. I don't believe it. Sem Baka, first up. I've got confidence in him. I wish I could just let him take them all. Whitaker. Again, I've gone the right way and not got there. It's so frustrating, man. Diego Lopez saved. It's just nonsense, man. Vertessen scores. Vidovic has to score and does, but we need a save and we never save. Jackal scores, and Union Berlin are one save away. Bester. Jan Niklas scores, but we still need a save. Willems to win it. Willems scores, and Bayern Munich are out of the DFB-Pokal again. I cannot believe it, guys. I really cannot believe it. I had a strong lineup out there. I said this year I was going for it, and we've fallen at the first hurdle. And the board are not going to be happy with that. I don't know how I didn't save that first penalty as well. And we just could not find a way through that 5 at the back of Union Berlin. I'm gobsmacked. Oh man, I am actually seething about that. Union Berlin, probably the worst team we could have faced. I'd rather have had Leverkusen or Leipzig, man. And it would have been Ingolstadt away in the 3rd round. That is so frustrating. And again, a few of the big boys out. Leverkusen are gone. I think, oh no, Wolfsburg are there against Mainz. But so frustrating, man. We've just got to put it behind us. But us and the DFB Pokal, we just don't get along, man. And do you know what? I'm taking my anger out on Werder Bremen in this next game. At home at the Allianz, looking to keep ourselves top of the Bundesliga. Auf geht's, die rotten. And I'm honestly still so frustrated after that last game. Honestly tried everything I could to find a goal, and I knew as soon as we were heading to spot kicks that we were going to end up losing it, man. It's just written in the stars. I don't know what it is. I can go almost a whole season unbeaten, but the domestic cup, nah. Give me a lower league or a team that we would expect to beat, and we've got absolutely no chance. Davis, early pressure from Bayern in this game, but still no breakthrough just yet. Lopez through the gap for Sem Baka, and there is the breakthrough. And there it is, 20 minutes in the Bundesliga, easy peasy, we get the breakthrough, but in the DFB Pokal, no chance we score. Well, there's the whistle at the Allianz. Pretty poor game, to be honest with you. We absolutely dominated, but just couldn't find that second goal to give us the cushion. In the end, we didn't need it, and we only managed to score 1. We've not been quite as free scoring as we were last year, and we've been conceding more goals as well. Already out of the DFB Pokal, as we were early last year. And yeah, although we're top of the league, not all hunky-dory for Bayern Munich. Well, as we see Mbappe win the 2030 Ballon d'Or, we'll close out the episode with this one as we take on Galatasaray in the Champions League. Slipped down to 9th, but as I mentioned, we've had our 3 trickiest games of the league phase, so I'm pretty confident we'll get back into that top 8, but not particularly happy with the performances towards the end of the episode, so looking for a promising and positive result here to close out the episode in the Champions League. Auf geht's, die rotten. couple of minutes into this game, we've just seen Mensah go down with an injury, and that's a bit of a concern because he's such an important part of this team. He is slowly getting back to his feet, but looks as if it's definitely going to be more than just a bruise for the youngster. All Bayern Munich in this opening 45 minutes, but still yet to find the breakthrough as Merlin releases Marquez, and we needed that. And we do get the breakthrough right at the end of the first half. All Bayern Munich pressure, and finally it pays off with Marquez opening the scoring. Oh, what a turn. Oh my goodness. How have we let that happen, man? How has he turned me there with Inacio, just literally straight through him, and then, well, Ronnie, man, that is just not good enough. Got to be keeping them out. We worked so hard to get that goal at the end of the first half, just to throw it away. And now we've got to do it all over again. Marquez, lovely turn. I'm using the fucking... Oh my goodness, the cheaty drag back, and I still can't score, man. What is going on at the end of today's episode? I think I've been playing for too long. I need a break after this. I've been playing for too long. Well, it's all over at the Allianz, and that's a pretty disappointing result to close out the episode. Another draw in the Champions League. That makes it 3 from our opening 4 games. And we're still unbeaten in the league phase, but we just can't seem to convert any of these draws to wins. Really disappointing result that, as we should have won. And I'm finding it a lot more difficult since adjusting the AI behaviour sliders. I'm finding them a lot harder to play against, which is a good thing because I didn't want the game getting too easy. But yeah, not the greatest of ends to today's episode. Well, we close out today's episode with some more bad news as we see James Mensah has broken his toe and will be down for the next 3 months. So we're likely to not see him again until the beginning of February. And the Champions League currently sat in at 12th place in the league phase, but only a point off the top 8. So I'm not too worried about that at the moment. And also top of the Bundesliga. So although it hasn't been plain sailing for us, we are still in a strong position in the 2 competitions that we remain in this season. Pretty disappointing with the performances over the last couple of games though, and not quite at the level we expect at Bayern Munich. So in the next episode, we'll have to improve on that. I'm finding it a bit more difficult, so we'll have to adapt our game. And if we want to complete the Champions League and Bundesliga double this year, we're going to have to up our game. I'll catch you for the next episode very soon, guys. Take care and peace.